I dropped out of college in 2019, and in just 2 years after that, I've been able to hit the six-figure mark and consistently grow my income since then. So this video is all about sharing how I was able to do it and what advice I have for people that want to achieve a similar trajectory in marketing. So, if we go back to 2019, I was paying around $30K a year in Northeastern University for my undergraduate business administration degree with a marketing concentration. I don't know why they don't have just like a regular marketing degree, but that's just how it worked. And after doing my whole first year, I just felt like the program was moving too slowly for the amount that I was paying. So I was actually looking at alternatives of cheaper universities that I could attend to finish my program. And while I was doing that, I was pretty deep into marketing, so I ended up getting a lot of ads. And one of them actually ended up being from an agency in Utah, which it goes by Chamber Media. And I was pretty intrigued by them, and I actually ended up reaching out to the founder on Facebook, and we had a little bit of back and forth, nothing crazy. He shared a link for where they post their job hirings, and I ended up applying to one of them, didn't get in. 6 months later, I applied to it again. This was the summer after the full freshman year, and that one I ended up getting. So, I am back home in New Jersey, and I get this email that I've been accepted. And I just remember being so excited for it, because dang, this could be my ticket to, completely different trajectory for my life and my career. And I definitely was not wrong on that. So, I started the position. It was pretty small pay. I was only getting like $30K a year. But in the year that I've been there, it's probably been one of the most pivotal points in my life, because I got to start really doing real projects and working with real clients, trying to solve the real business needs, which mostly is here, I'm going to pay you this amount, please make me 3 times 4 times more than what I paid you. That's what it kind of boils down to. So for that agency, the main focus was video creatives, and also running them as ads on on Meta, or then it was Facebook and Google. So starting off as a content creator, helping in the video creation process, and then at some point, I think 6 months in, I was able to transition to the paid media team and start running ads. And that was like a move that I made, because I just felt like that's where I want to go in with my career. And I was fortunate enough to have an amazing manager that saw the potential in me and let me make that change, which again, it was a risk on their end, but it was a lot of kind of trying to tell them, hey, trust me, I am a hard worker, I'm gonna figure this out, kind of faking it till you make it, right? So after I've done that, I ended up moving to another company called Current Tech. And while I've done that, there was also a client that I was working with in the previous agency that really liked me, and they were actually thinking on breaking ties with the agency and working with me directly. It was a bit like a gray area, because it kind of made it seem like I stole the client, which I guess I did, but at the time it just was a natural transition for them and for me. And I ended up working with that client for another 2 years at least. So that was a nice kind of buffer to my income. And I also moved into that new role that I was talking about, where then it's called Current Tech, and it was more focused on micro influencers, so a bit different side of marketing, which I haven't been involved with a lot. It was an interesting model because it was SaaS, so it was a software as a service, and it was an agency at the same time. So, like, I'm starting to get into new environments, new experiences, and every time I'm coming into a new role or I'm taking on new responsibilities, it's like a lot of learnings that needs to happen for me to excel at that new role, right? So I'm just learning and growing at like a record pace. Meanwhile, at this point, I'll probably be a junior in college, maybe have 1 or 2 internships under my belt, but no crazy experience where I guess I'm leveling up to getting closer to mid-level. Right now, I would say I'm still entry level at this point, around 2 years out from leaving the university. But yeah, so with that role, it was good, and I felt like it was a good fit, but definitely was very intense and like high pressure because I was running TikTok ads there, and TikTok ads just recently came out, so it was a very volatile platform where the returns were not consistent. So I felt like it was a bit hard to like see it as like a stable thing. So at some point, a recruiter reached out to me and told me about an opportunity in Florida. So this recruiter found me through one of my coworkers back in Chamber. So here's where I think the working at Chamber, at the Chamber media agency was a big turning point for me, is because I made a lot of connections with clients, but also with other people that I worked with that I eventually like ended up working with a lot of them in different situations and different companies, etc. So I think it's important from the very beginning to show yourself as someone that is very driven and that is gonna go the extra mile to bring the best results possible. Because then whenever people are looking for others to fill a specific role, and if I had any skills that intersected there, my name would come up once in a while. So Michael Todd Beauty was the next company I worked at, and this one again, recruiter reached out to me because they reached out to someone else, but they weren't willing to make the move because at this point I'm in Utah. That's where all those companies are at, where I've been working at, and the recruiter is looking for someone to fill a role in Florida. I ended up taking that role, so I moved from Utah to Florida, worked there for around 9 months, and then ended up doing my own thing. So as you can see, it's like a very non-linear, all over the place trajectory of like where I've been going, but I am moving forward. I'm in some instances I'm failing forward, but yeah. So I ended up doing that opportunity, and then the next one, which is the current one I'm at, Lease End. That is another one that I got from a recruiter. So the past two roles, I haven't really needed to go and apply anywhere. It's just people in my network referred me, and I ended up, being a good fit for what they're looking for. And I also ended up, liking the opportunity at the moment. So for this one, I would be going back to Utah. So, I've been back in Utah for the past 6 months working with this new company, and they're basically like a fintech startup that does online lease buyouts. So they're kind of like a loan broker per se. So I really like this opportunity because I just saw the market potential there, and I felt like we're at this level right now. I think there's room to 10x, and I could be part of that 10x. So it got me really excited, and that's why I made the jump here. And I'm it's been an awesome opportunity. But again, I got it from recruitment, and for both of these past 2 roles that I got into, I was taking advantage of 2 things that helped me basically have a really strong position in the employment negotiation part of it, right? So one is they reached out to me, so there's a bit of scarcity in the sense that we're looking at me specifically. And then the other part of it is the relocation aspect, because whenever you move to a new state, you're taking a bigger risk and you are sacrificing more in order to join the company. So I've had that happen the last 2 times, and I've been able to ask for maybe a higher salary than I would have asked for if I stayed in the same state. So I did see that play as a role. And there's also relocation packages that were, part of the agreement. So that was another nice bonus. But yeah, I would say, again, like this has been my journey so far. Obviously, I have a lot more years to work in marketing, and I have business ideas I want to pursue, and there's gonna be more things to come. But right now, I'm basically at the age where I would have graduated, and I probably would be looking at those entry level roles if I never had any crazy experience in the time I was studying, which again probably wouldn't be the case. So I guess what I'm getting at is there are other ways to grow your career in marketing besides going to a university. You're not going to be working at those big, Fortune 500 companies, because they probably have a bit more of a standard process for how they hire their new employees, right? They're probably scanning to see if there's a degree. But for those lower, smaller company startups and agencies, that's a great way to get your foot in the door. And someone like me at this point, I have 4 years of experience in marketing. So now, if I wanted to, I might be able to go and apply to these Fortune 500 companies if that's what I chose to do. But that's not something that interests me at the moment. I really like working with startups, and I like the particular startup I'm in because I want to see it grow to $1 billion valuation. I'm very certain it could happen. And it would be cool for me to have my resume to say that, hey, I was part of the core marketing team that has been able to achieve those kind of numbers. So on average, I spent around 1 year in every company that I worked at so far. So, I guess I could be considered a job hopper, but every time I did it, I had a very good reason to do so. And I think whenever you go through that process, having a good story of why you decided to move on to the next place is going to be really important when you're looking for that next role. But I think the highest leverage you have is when you are in a role and someone is trying to kind of steal you for their company, right? That's when you could be like, hey, I actually really like my new place. I don't really want to leave. Give me a good reason for why I should leave this place that I really like and go for your place where I don't know what the outcome of that could be, right? So that results in better terms, better salary negotiation, and just better positioning within the company that is trying to recruit you, right? So all this fun stuff happens once you build your network. And the best place to build your network, in my opinion, is a really good, credible agency that has a good flow of clients that are respectable and that you would potentially see yourself working with in the future, right? There is a non-compete agreement where if you work at an agency, you can't directly try to work with the client under the cover while you're working there. I think it also lasts for a year that you can't kind of work with them directly. Again, for me, I had a unique experience with that where it ended up working out. But again, I don't really say that's something you want to do, but it's just all the clients you work with, all the people you work with in the company, they're going to be a core part of your network, in addition to all the learning and just experience that you're going to have as well while you're there. So that's why, for me, if I were to start over, I would always go back to doing the same thing, which is starting an agency. Maybe it would have been another agency. Maybe I would have found one in Boston, which was closer, or just in the East Coast where all my family ties are. But I just took a wild swing and moved to complete other side of the country, and to me ended up working out. And I have a really good kind of set trajectory of where I want to go and what I want to do. But all of this happened because I set the building blocks and the foundation of not a traditional education, but self-made, self-guided journey through agencies. Last thing I want to mention is you want to embody the A-player archetype. And what that is a high-performing, top-tier employee who consistently excels, is passionate about their work, and makes significant contributions to their organizations, often exceeding expectations. So basically, if we put it in blunt terms, whatever the company's paying you, they need to feel like you are giving the best return on their investment. And also, and that's from the management side. And from the employee side, you want to be the guy that, or the girl that they could always rely on to get something done to the best of your ability and the best quality work possible. And not only are you going to become a better marketer this way, but you'll also be the first people that the first person that anyone thinks of whenever they need someone for a specific thing, right? So for me, I kind of branded myself as like a up and coming underdog ad buyer that has been figuring things out and been testing new strategies that work, and that's been that's what got me my current role. And it's been 2-3 years. In 2-3 years, this opportunity materialized. So never underestimate the power of being a type A player that really does help out in the long term.